The journey to wealth begins not in your hands, not in your bank account, and not in the world outside you. It begins in the unseen space that surrounds you, the energy field you carry wherever you go. This energy, often referred to as your aura, is far more than a poetic idea. It is the living expression of your inner state. If you look closely at the course of your life, your successes, your setbacks, the opportunities that appear, and the ones that slip away, you will notice that it has always mirrored what you have carried within. Your aura is like a silent messenger, broadcasting your beliefs and emotions into the world, and the world responds in kind. Think of your aura as a magnet. A magnet cannot pull toward itself anything that is not in harmony with its own field. Likewise, your aura cannot draw wealth if it is charged with thoughts of limitation, fear, or unworthiness. You may work hard, seek better strategies, or chase opportunity after opportunity, yet the results will remain elusive until your inner beliefs are aligned with abundance. Many people misunderstand this truth. They believe that action alone is the key. Action is vital, yes, but the quality of your action is shaped by the energy you bring to it. A person who believes in scarcity will take fearful, hesitant actions, while a person whose aura is charged with confidence and prosperity will move boldly, attract allies, and recognize opportunities that others overlook. Your inner beliefs act as the blueprint for your aura. Every thought you hold with conviction imprints itself upon your energy. When you habitually think, "I never have enough," your aura radiates lack and life reflects it back to you. When you think, "I am capable of creating wealth and I am worthy of it," your aura becomes a beacon that quietly calls forth matching experiences. This is not magic. It is a principle as natural as gravity. Your beliefs color your emotions infuse your actions, and your actions shape your results. The aura is simply the bridge between the unseen cause and the visible effect. Wealth, in its truest sense, does not come to those who merely crave it. It comes to those whose inner state is ready to receive it. If you believe deep down that money is scarce, that opportunities are for others, or that success is somehow wrong or out of reach for you, your aura will project these doubts outward. People will sense it. They may not be able to explain it, but they will feel it. Partners, mentors, and clients are naturally drawn to those who radiate confidence, clarity, and a sense of purpose. They will shy away from someone whose energy reflects insecurity or desperation. This is why your aura matters more than the surface appearance of effort. Shaping your aura begins with the discipline of your thoughts. A single stray doubt or negative idea does not define you, but the patterns you feed day after day create the energetic climate in which you live. You must examine the beliefs you carry about wealth. Were you taught that money is difficult to earn, that success is only for a lucky few, that desiring abundance is selfish? If so, these beliefs are still quietly shaping your aura and in turn your experiences. To transform your aura, you must begin the quiet yet powerful work of reshaping these beliefs. Affirmations and positive words have value, but only when they are backed by genuine conviction. You must come to see yourself as worthy of wealth, capable of wealth, and naturally aligned with the flow of opportunity. Another subtle but profound aspect of this process is emotional alignment. Thoughts may spark the pattern, but emotion gives it power. A person may say, "I want to be wealthy," yet deep within feel unworthy or anxious about wealth. That emotional current weakens the signal of the aura. To truly shift your energy, you must not only think of abundance, but feel at peace with it. You must learn to feel gratitude for the opportunities you have now and joy in anticipation of the ones yet to come. Gratitude and joy are among the highest frequencies you can emit. They reshape your aura from a state of need into a state of readiness. Imagine two individuals standing side by side. Both are equally skilled, equally intelligent, and equally hard-working. Yet one consistently finds doors opening, while the other struggles to gain a foothold. The difference is often invisible to the eye, but tangible in the field they project. One carries an aura brightened by belief, focus, and expectation of good things. The other, weighed down by hidden doubts and fears, projects an energy that repels opportunities or blinds them to possibilities. The world does not reward effort alone. It responds to the energy behind the effort. To cultivate a wealth-attracting aura, you must commit to daily practices that reinforce your beliefs. This could be through visualization, where you regularly see yourself as already living in the prosperity you desire. It could be through mindful speech, speaking words that affirm your worth and your goals. It could be through surrounding yourself with people and environments that reinforce your confidence rather than drain it. Each choice you make either strengthens the positive charge of your aura or weakens it. Remember that your aura is dynamic. It changes as you change. If you have lived years under the shadow of scarcity, do not be discouraged. The moment you begin to think differently, to nurture empowering beliefs, you set a new course. The change may not be instant, but it will be steady if you persist. The universe has no resistance to abundance. It merely reflects what you bring to it. Your role is to become a vessel, an energetic match for the wealth you desire. Above all, understand this: wealth is not an external prize that descends upon the fortunate few. It is a natural response to a certain state of being. When your aura reflects fear, life seems to close its doors. When it reflects trust, worthiness, and vision, life opens those doors, and often in unexpected ways. Opportunities that once passed unnoticed will catch your eye. People who can help you will sense your energy and feel inclined to assist you. The steps you take will feel guided, not forced. So, begin today. Pay close attention to the beliefs that whisper in your mind. Question those that limit you. Replace them with beliefs that honor your potential. Let your emotions rise to meet those beliefs with gratitude and anticipation. Walk and speak as one who expects good things. As you do, your aura will transform, and as your aura transforms, so too will the world's response to you. In time, you will realize that you are never merely chasing wealth. You are cultivating the power within to allow wealth to find you. You are learning to reflect abundance so purely that it could not help but gravitate toward you. This is the true art of training your aura to become the living embodiment of the wealth you wish to attract, so that what you once pursued now flows naturally to you. Wealth, as most people understand it, is measured in coins, bills, or numbers in a bank account. They see it as something external, separate from themselves, something to be earned or acquired. But this view is incomplete. Before a single coin can arrive in your hands, before an idea can turn into a profitable business, before a chance meeting can blossom into a fruitful partnership, wealth exists as a subtle vibration, a living current of energy that flows through thoughts, emotions, and the atmosphere around you. To grasp this is to grasp the very foundation of prosperity. Every invention, every great enterprise, every fortune that has ever been built started first as a vision, a spark of insight, an invisible impression in the mind of a person. That vision carried an energy, a certain charge that attracted the right people, resources, and conditions to bring it into the material world. The buildings we see, the products we use, the opportunities that change lives, they all were once unseen, intangible, held only in the current of thought. That is why it is said that wealth is born long before it becomes money. This is not a mystical idea, but a practical one. When you believe that wealth is only the product of physical labor or luck, you give up the greatest power you have, the power to shape your own energy. Energy is the starting point of everything that follows. A person who sees wealth as energy understands that the first step toward abundance is to tune their own vibration to the frequency of prosperity. This means cultivating an inner state of confidence, clarity, and expectancy that naturally draws opportunities as a magnet draws iron. Consider the difference between two individuals facing the same challenge, starting a new business. The first looks at the lack of funds, the competition, and the difficulties ahead. They feel small in the face of the task. Their energy contracts. Their mind becomes hesitant. Their aura broadcasts doubt. The second person sees possibilities. They feel inspired by their vision and trust in their ability to figure things out. Their energy expands. They become open, alert, and resilient. To them, setbacks are lessons, not barriers. The world responds differently to each of these people. Investors, partners, and even strangers sense the difference, often without realizing it. They are drawn to the one who radiates strength and certainty. The flow of energy sets events in motion long before money exchanges hands. Understanding wealth as energy also transforms how you approach action. Many chase money as if running after a retreating target. They work longer hours, push harder, yet find themselves exhausted, sometimes resentful, and still not fulfilled. This is because their actions arise from a frequency of fear or desperation. Actions taken in that state often lead to short-lived gains or even losses. On the other hand, when you begin from a state of inner abundance, trusting that the flow of wealth is natural, you act with clarity and calm determination. You make wiser decisions, you notice doors that were invisible to you before, and you attract allies instead of resistance. The energy behind the action gives it a different quality. Think of wealth as water flowing in a river. If your energy is in harmony with that current, you move with the river. Progress feels steady, even graceful. If your energy resists it, if you carry thoughts of scarcity, unworthiness, or fear, you struggle as though trying to row upstream. The current is still there, but you are fighting it instead of aligning with it. The outer results always follow the inner current. To cultivate wealth as energy, you must become aware of how you feel and think about it now. If wealth is tied in your mind to struggle, conflict, or guilt, that belief acts as a dam blocking the flow. You must clear away these inner obstructions by seeing wealth for what it truly is, the expression of life's abundance. Money is merely a tool, a symbol through which energy moves. The real source is infinite. When you embrace this truth, you no longer chase money from a place of lack. You align yourself with the energy that creates it. One of the most powerful practices for this alignment is to foster a genuine sense of worthiness. Many people secretly believe they do not deserve to be wealthy, that abundance is for others, or that their past mistakes disqualify them. These beliefs lower their energetic frequency. To raise it, you must affirm your inherent right to thrive. You must see yourself not as a beggar hoping for a few coins from life, but as a participant in an abundant universe, capable of contributing value and therefore worthy of receiving in return. Another essential factor is vision. Energy responds to direction. A vague desire for more money carries little power. A clear, vivid vision of the kind of wealth you seek, how it looks, how it feels, how it benefits others, channels your energy into a focused beam. That beam acts like a signal sent out to the world, attracting resources and opportunities that align with it. The clearer your vision, the stronger the signal, and the more naturally the pieces of the puzzle fall into place. Emotion adds yet another layer of energy. A cold, detached wish for wealth is weak. But when that wish is warmed by enthusiasm, gratitude, and a sense of purpose, it gains momentum. Emotion gives energy its vitality. This is why people who love what they do often achieve greater success. Their emotional energy fuels their actions and draws support from unexpected places. Let us be clear. Seeing wealth as energy does not mean sitting idle waiting for miracles. It means understanding that purposeful, aligned action emerges from the right inner state. Once your energy is tuned to abundance, the actions you take will be more inspired, more efficient, and more likely to lead to lasting results. You will find yourself meeting the right people at the right time, noticing opportunities that others overlook, and making decisions with a calm confidence that attracts trust. When you observe people who seem to get lucky in wealth creation, you will often find that luck is merely the outer face of inner alignment. They were ready, mentally, emotionally, energetically, so when an opportunity appeared, they could seize it. Meanwhile, others standing beside them carrying doubt or fear failed to recognize the same chance. The moment you begin to think of wealth as energy, a subtle shift occurs. You stop measuring your worth by the size of your current bank account and start focusing on the richness of your thoughts and emotions. You become less anxious about temporary setbacks because you know the real source of wealth lies within you and cannot be taken away by a single failure. This perspective frees you to act boldly and persistently, to keep moving forward even when the outer results seem slow to appear. As you continue to nurture this energy through clear vision, positive belief, emotional alignment, and consistent inspired action, you will notice that money, opportunities, and supportive relationships start to appear as natural consequences. They are no longer distant goals you chase, but outcomes that flow toward you, drawn by the field you have cultivated. In the end, to understand that wealth is energy before it is money is to reclaim your own power. It is to recognize that you are not merely at the mercy of markets, luck, or other people's decisions. You are an active participant in shaping the flow of abundance in your life. The more you align your inner energy with the qualities of wealth, confidence, generosity, creativity, gratitude, the more the outer world mirrors that alignment back to you. This truth has guided every great achievement in human history. The vision came first, the energy was set in motion, and the material results followed. You are no different. If you nurture the right inner state, the world around you cannot help but respond. Wealth will cease to be a distant dream and will begin to appear as a natural expression of who you have become. One of the greatest misunderstandings people carry about wealth is the idea that wishing for it, wanting it deeply enough, or speaking of it often, is enough to bring it into their lives. They imagine that strong desire alone can bend the world in their favor, yet desire, when unaccompanied by the right inner state, often leads only to frustration. The truth is simple but profound. You do not attract what you merely wish for, you attract what you are. The energy you embody, the beliefs you hold, the emotions you nurture, the habits you practice, sends out a constant signal to the world around you. That signal draws to you experiences, people, and opportunities that harmonize with your own vibration. Think of yourself as a broadcasting station. Every thought and feeling is like a note in the signal you emit. You may say aloud, "I want wealth," yet if beneath those words you carry fear of failure, resentment toward those who have succeeded, or a secret belief that wealth is beyond your reach, your signal is mixed. The stronger, more consistent part of that signal is not the fleeting wish, but the steady belief and feeling you live with each day. The world responds to that steady vibration, not the words you speak in passing. That is why some people who desperately want to prosper seem stuck, while others who quietly live in an attitude of confidence and abundance seem to draw good fortune without strain. The distinction between wishing and being is critical. Wishing is often passive. It is a recognition of what you lack and a longing for it to appear. Being, on the other hand, is active and generative. To be something is to align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with it here and now, even before the outer evidence has arrived. When you carry yourself as though prosperity is your natural state, you think differently, speak differently, and act from a place of readiness rather than hesitation. This alignment turns you into a magnet for circumstances that match the inner quality you have chosen to embody. Consider the person who constantly says, "I hope to be wealthy one day." They spend hours imagining the life they could have but seldom act boldly because deep down they doubt it is possible. Their energy radiates yearning tinged with uncertainty. Now consider someone who has decided that wealth is not merely something to wish for, but a natural extension of the value they can create in the world. They live as if abundance is already unfolding. Their choices reflect commitment rather than hesitation. They learn new skills, make strategic connections, and view challenges as stepping stones. Even before significant money arrives, their inner state is already aligned with prosperity, and that alignment begins to draw the right opportunities. This principle can be seen in small, everyday ways. People who value themselves tend to be offered more opportunities because others sense that self-respect. Those who carry an inner atmosphere of gratitude often receive more kindness and support because their presence uplifts the environment. Conversely, those who carry resentment or bitterness often find themselves surrounded by conflict. Life reflects back to us not our passing wishes, but the steady energy we project. To attract what you desire, you must begin by becoming it in essence. If you want to attract financial abundance, cultivate the inner qualities of a person who lives abundantly: competence, vision, generosity, and discipline. If you want to attract opportunity, become curious, open-minded, and willing to learn. If you want to attract supportive relationships, embody trustworthiness, respect, and kindness. When you develop these qualities, you shift your energy field, and that shift changes the kinds of experiences drawn to you. It is important to understand that this is not about pretending or forcing yourself to feel what you do not. Pretending to be abundant while still feeling unworthy or fearful is like painting over rust. It looks polished for a moment but soon crumbles. Real change begins with honest self-reflection. Ask yourself, what do I truly believe about money, about success, about myself? Do I believe opportunities are scarce or plentiful? Do I believe I deserve good things? These beliefs, often formed in childhood or through past disappointments, quietly shape the energy you live in now. To attract differently, you must gently but firmly change those beliefs. Changing what you are is a gradual, intentional process. It involves feeding your mind with new ideas through study, mentors, inspiring stories, and practicing new emotional responses. It means replacing thoughts of fear with thoughts of trust, replacing envy with admiration, and replacing self-doubt with a recognition of your own capacity to learn and grow. As you do this consistently, the old vibration weakens and the new one strengthens. Over time, you notice that the world begins to respond to you in new ways, as if circumstances themselves had shifted. Another dimension of being is action. You cannot claim to be prosperous while acting in ways that contradict that state. If you say you are ready for wealth but avoid opportunities, ignore chances to learn, or cling to habits that drain your resources, your actions send a conflicting message. The alignment of thought, feeling, and action is what forms a clear, coherent vibration. When these three are in harmony, you project a signal that is consistent and strong, and the responses you receive become more consistent as well. Imagine a seed planted in fertile soil. The seed does not sit wishing to become a tree. It carries within itself the pattern of the tree. The soil, water, and sunlight respond to that pattern, nurturing it into full expression. In a similar way, when you embody the pattern of the person you wish to become, the world responds to nurture that pattern into visible results. Wishing without being is like scattering seeds on stone. They have no inner pattern that can take root in the environment. There is also an element of trust involved. People who wish often grasp tightly, as if fearing that opportunities will slip away. This grasping energy can repel the very outcomes they desire. People who embody their goals tend to move with more calm and faith, knowing that the external will follow the internal in due time. This calmness allows them to make better decisions, maintain patience through setbacks, and recognize doors opening that others overlook in their hurry. The phrase, "you attract what you are," is empowering because it places the power of change where it truly belongs, within yourself. You are not at the mercy of chance or dependent on the approval of others to start transforming your reality. The shift begins the moment you choose to align your inner state with the qualities you seek outside yourself. This is not a one-time event, but a continuous practice, an ongoing refinement of your thoughts, emotions, and actions to keep them resonating with the level of life you aspire to. When you begin to live as the person you intend to become, you will notice subtle shifts even before the outer markers of wealth appear. You may find yourself meeting people who share your vision, encountering opportunities that align with your goals, or feeling a deeper sense of purpose and enthusiasm each day. These are signs that your inner state is resonating with the experiences you want. The outer evidence may take time to grow, just as a planted seed takes time to sprout, but the direction of growth has already changed. In time, this understanding liberates you from the frustration of unfulfilled wishing. You stop waiting for external circumstances to change before you feel abundant. Instead, you cultivate abundance as a way of being, and in doing so, you set in motion the unseen forces that shape external events. What once felt distant begins to feel natural. The wealth you sought no longer feels like something outside yourself to be captured. It feels like a natural extension of who you have become. To live by this principle is to live with a sense of quiet power. You no longer plead with life for what you want. You participate in the creative process as a partner. You no longer ask, "When will my wish come true?" but instead focus on embodying the qualities that make the wish inevitable. You realize that the world cannot help but mirror back to you what you consistently hold within. Ultimately, understanding that you attract what you are calls you to a higher form of personal responsibility. It challenges you to cultivate the inner wealth of thought, character, emotion, and purpose that becomes the magnet for outer wealth. The journey may begin with a wish, but it is fulfilled only when the wish transforms into being, when you become the person whose life naturally includes prosperity, success, and meaningful contribution. Those things arrive not as distant dreams, but as faithful companions to the life you are already living. Every visible result in your life, the size of your income, the opportunities that appear or vanish, the quality of your relationships can be traced back to something invisible, the condition of your inner world. Most people try to change their lives by rearranging outer circumstances alone. They work longer hours, change jobs, move to new places, or chase the next promising scheme, yet they find themselves repeating the same struggles in different forms. The pattern persists because the root of every outer experience lies in the inner state of mind, the quiet beliefs, emotions, and habits of thought that shape the aura you carry. To create a lasting change in your outer world, you must first attend to this inner domain. Your inner world is like the soil from which all visible events grow. If the soil is dry, hard, and starved of nutrients, the best seeds will wither. If it is rich, well-watered, and tended with care, even small seeds can grow into strong, fruitful trees. Many people plant the seeds of new opportunities, perhaps a promising business idea, a new connection, a bold plan, yet they see little growth because the soil of their thoughts is hardened by fear, resentment, or self-doubt. Transforming your inner world is the work of softening that soil, enriching it with beliefs that nurture possibility and emotions that invite life to flourish. This transformation begins with awareness. Most people are so accustomed to their habitual thinking that they mistake it for reality itself. They believe that their doubts, their fears, and their stories about limitation are simply facts of life, when in truth they are reflections of the inner lens through which they view life. The first step in changing your outer world is to pause and observe the thoughts you entertain each day. Notice how you speak to yourself when you face a challenge. Notice whether you dwell more on what you fear or on what you desire. Such awareness is like holding up a lantern in a dark room. It shows you the inner patterns that have been silently shaping your experiences. Once you begin to see these patterns, you gain the power to replace them. A person who constantly thinks opportunities are scarce radiates an aura of contraction. People sense it, doors seem to close. When that same person learns to affirm opportunities are all around me and I am worthy of them, something shifts. The words alone are not magic. It is the change in perception and feeling they represent that alters the energy. Gradually, the inner world starts to nurture hope and expectation instead of fear and resignation. That shift in turn influences what the person notices, the choices they make, and the way others respond to them. Emotions are as vital to this process as thoughts. You cannot sustain a vision of abundance while carrying constant bitterness or anxiety. The conflicting signals cancel each other out. Think of emotion as the climate in which your inner garden grows. A mind filled with inspiring ideas but overshadowed by chronic worry is like a field that receives seeds but is never watered. To transform your inner world, you must cultivate emotions that support your vision. Gratitude for what you have, joy in small progress, faith in your capacity to handle challenges. Such emotions act as nourishment, feeding the new seeds you have planted until they grow strong enough to bear fruit in the outer world. Daily habits give your transformation roots. A single moment of inspiration can lift your energy, but without steady practice, it fades like morning mist. The beliefs and emotions that shape your aura are strengthened or weakened by what you do repeatedly, what you read, the conversations you engage in, the way you begin and end your days. Someone who starts each day by focusing on what they fear unknowingly trains their mind to see obstacles. Someone who begins the day by reviewing their goals and expressing gratitude trains their mind to notice opportunities and act with calm purpose. Your habits are the tools with which you cultivate the garden of your inner world. Transforming the inner world also means letting go of what no longer serves you. Many people cling to old grudges, failures, and self-criticisms, carrying them like heavy stones that weigh down their energy. These old burdens color every new opportunity, turning bright chances into dim prospects. To change your outer world, you must be willing to release the stories and emotions of the past that keep you chained to the old pattern. Forgiveness of others and of yourself is not merely a moral choice. It is a practical step in freeing your energy so it can move toward growth instead of being locked in old battles. Another powerful part of inner transformation is learning to see the world through the lens of possibility. Two people may stand before the same closed door. One sees it as rejection and turns away. The other notices a window nearby and looks for a way through. The difference is not in the situation, but in the inner attitude. By training your mind to ask, where is the opportunity in this? You shift from a posture of defeat to one of creative problem solving. Over time, this perspective attracts more and more possibilities because your actions and your energy both lean toward progress instead of retreat. As you cultivate these inner qualities, clarity of thought, uplifting emotions, empowering habits, a sense of possibility, you will notice that your outer actions begin to change naturally. You may reach out to people you once felt intimidated by, pursue goals you once dismissed as unrealistic, or persist through difficulties that once discouraged you. This is the visible sign that the transformation is taking root. Your behavior aligns with the new inner reality. And as your behavior changes, so does the response of the world around you. People sense your confidence and openness. Opportunities seem to find you. What really happened is that you altered the signal you were sending out, and the world responded in kind. Many look for a shortcut, some secret technique to change their outer fortunes without doing the inner work. But such attempts rarely lead to lasting results. External strategies can provide temporary gains, yet if the inner pattern remains unchanged, the old results soon return. True, stable transformation begins from the inside out. When your inner world is strong, even setbacks become fuel for further growth. When it is weak, even success can crumble under pressure. This principle is not confined to financial wealth. It applies to health, to relationships, to every area where you wish to see improvement. A person who inwardly believes they are destined to struggle in love will find ways to sabotage even promising connections. A person who inwardly believes in their worthiness to be cherished will naturally set boundaries and attract healthier relationships. The outer is always an echo of the inner. You need not transform every aspect of yourself overnight. Change often begins in one small area, perhaps in how you speak to yourself, or in a single daily habit. Each change is like adding fresh soil and water to your inner garden. As the first shoots appear, your confidence grows, encouraging you to tend the garden more diligently. Gradually, the old barren ground is replaced by fertile land from which new opportunities and results emerge. There is a deep peace that comes from realizing that the key to changing your outer circumstances lies within. You no longer feel like a helpless passenger tossed about by external events. You become the gardener of your own destiny, tending the soil of your thoughts and emotions, confident that in due season your outer world will reflect the care you have given to the inner. Ultimately, transforming your inner world is an act of reclaiming your power. Instead of waiting for luck, for others' approval, or for circumstances to align, you take responsibility for the one domain that is fully yours to shape your inner state. As you nurture this state with wisdom, discipline, and faith, the outer world begins to rearrange itself in response. New paths open, resources appear, relationships shift, and what once felt out of reach becomes part of your lived experience. When you see your life as a mirror of your inner world, every challenge becomes an invitation to grow rather than a reason to despair. The moment you decide to cultivate better soil within, you set in motion the growth of better fruits without. Wealth, success, fulfillment, these are not prizes handed out at random, but harvests drawn from the seeds you have sown and tended in the rich ground of your own mind and spirit. We often think of habits as small routines, what time we wake up, how we work, what we eat, but rarely do we realize that habits are the invisible architects of our destiny. Each habit is a thread in the fabric of our aura, and together they weave the pattern that determines what we attract in life. While a single action may not seem significant, repeated actions day after day shape the energy field you project into the world. This frequency either magnetizes wealth and opportunity or quietly repels them. If you want to train your aura to attract prosperity, you must first examine and elevate the habits that feed it. Your aura is not static, it is dynamic, constantly responding to the choices you make. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you dwell upon, every action you perform, these become habits that set the tone of your energy. Imagine your aura as a radio station. The frequency it broadcasts is determined by what you tune into internally. When you maintain habits of fear, procrastination, or self-doubt, you broadcast a signal of uncertainty, and the world echoes it back through missed chances, delayed success, and financial struggle. When your habits foster focus, gratitude, confidence, and generosity, you transmit a higher frequency that draws supportive people, fruitful ideas, and timely opportunities. Consider the habit of your morning routine. The first thoughts you entertain upon waking often color the entire day. A person who wakes up scrolling through negative news, worrying about bills, or reliving old mistakes sets a tone of stress and scarcity. That tone seeps into their aura, and throughout the day they encounter more resistance, make rush decisions, or miss the subtle signs of opportunity. Contrast this with someone who begins the day in stillness, affirming their goals, expressing gratitude for what they already have, and visualizing their progress. Such habits prime the mind for alertness and possibility. They charge the aura with expectation rather than dread, and this expectation becomes a magnet for good fortune. The small habits of speech are equally powerful. Words carry energy, and the phrases you repeat reinforce the vibration of your aura. People who often say, "I can't afford that," "I never get a break," or "I'm always unlucky," unknowingly strengthen patterns of limitation. Their aura begins to radiate resignation, and the world responds accordingly. By contrast, those who habitually speak words of possibility, "I can find a way," "I'm learning every day," "opportunities are coming to me," send out a more constructive signal. Over time, this signal draws experiences that align with it. Changing your habitual language is one of the simplest and most immediate ways to elevate your aura's frequency. Another often overlooked but crucial habit is how you manage your attention. In an age of constant distraction, many people scatter their focus, moving from one trivial concern to another without ever entering the deep, concentrated state where insight and creativity thrive. This scattered attention diffuses their energy, their aura becomes faint and inconsistent. Wealth, however, is attracted to those who focus their energy with purpose. When you cultivate the habit of giving your full attention to meaningful work, of protecting your focus from unnecessary noise, you strengthen the clarity of your energetic field. Clarity itself is magnetic. It signals to the world that you know what you want and are ready to receive it. The habits that influence your emotional state are equally significant. Emotions are the fuel that amplifies your aura. A person who indulges daily in resentment, envy, or constant complaint fills their energy field with heaviness. Even if they outwardly pursue opportunities, the weight of those emotions slows their progress and repels supportive alliances. By developing habits that nurture positive emotions, such as practicing daily gratitude, finding lessons in challenges, or celebrating small victories, you infuse your aura with vitality. Vitality attracts people who want to work with you, and it keeps you resilient in the face of setbacks. Habits of self-discipline form another cornerstone of an aura tuned to wealth. It is easy to start projects with enthusiasm and let them fade at the first sign of difficulty. This inconsistency weakens your aura's signal. It tells the world that your energy is not steady enough to handle bigger opportunities. In contrast, habits of following through, keeping your promises to yourself and others, managing your time wisely, completing what you start generate a field of reliability and strength. The world entrusts more to those who consistently demonstrate they can handle more. Financial habits themselves broadcast a powerful signal. People who habitually spend impulsively, neglect saving, or treat money carelessly emit an aura of instability. Even when they earn more, opportunities often slip away, because the underlying energy is disordered. On the other hand, those who develop habits of mindful spending, regular saving, and thoughtful investing radiate a sense of responsibility and growth. This vibration draws further opportunities to expand and multiply their resources. Another subtle yet influential set of habits involves the company you keep. The conversations you have, the attitudes you absorb from your environment, the expectations you accept from those around you, all seep into your daily patterns and influence your frequency. Habits of associating with people who uplift, challenge, and inspire you elevate your energy. Spending most of your time with those who dwell in negativity, gossip, or defeatist thinking lowers it. Choosing your environment wisely and cultivating habits of meaningful connection can shift your aura in profound ways. Your physical habits, the way you care for your body, also shape your energy field. A tired, neglected body often drags down the mind and emotions, creating a dull vibration. Habits of regular movement, nourishing food, and adequate rest enhance vitality, and vitality brightens your aura. The body is the vessel through which your energy expresses itself. Keeping it strong and healthy supports every other effort to raise your frequency. It is important to recognize that these habits do not need to be grand or perfect. The most transformative results often come from simple habits practiced consistently. Reading a few pages of an inspiring book each morning, taking 5 minutes to visualize your goals, keeping a gratitude journal, pausing before reacting to challenges, each of these small acts contributes to the tone of your energy. Over weeks and months, they accumulate, gradually shifting your aura toward a frequency that attracts the wealth and opportunities you desire. The power of habit lies in its compounding effect. A single day of positive practice may not seem to make much difference, just as one drop of water does not fill a bucket, but as days turn into weeks and weeks into months, the drops accumulate. Eventually, the bucket overflows. And what was once invisible, the consistent charge of your aura, becomes visible in the form of better circumstances, new openings, and increased prosperity. The key is patience and perseverance. The aura's frequency stabilizes as the new habits become second nature. Equally, one must be mindful of the persistence of old habits. Many people try to adopt new practices while clinging to old patterns of thought and emotion. They meditate for a few minutes, but then spend hours feeding their mind with negativity. They visualize success in the morning, but complain about difficulties all afternoon. These conflicting habits send mixed signals, slowing the transformation of their aura. True progress comes from gradually replacing unhelpful patterns with constructive ones, not merely adding new practices on top of the old. There is a deep sense of empowerment in realizing that your daily choices, not luck, not distant circumstances, are constantly shaping the energy you project. You no longer feel at the mercy of fate or dependent on sudden breakthroughs. Instead, you recognize that each day's routine is a brushstroke painting the picture of your future. Every choice to think constructively, to speak with confidence, to act with discipline adds color and depth to that picture. When you align your habits with the frequency of wealth by training your mind each morning, speaking words that affirm possibility, nurturing emotions that uplift, focusing on meaningful work, treating money with respect, caring for your body, and surrounding yourself with positive influences, you steadily transform your aura into a magnet for prosperity. The world begins to respond in ways that may once have seemed like coincidence, a timely meeting, a chance idea, a sudden improvement in your circumstances. But these are not random. They are the natural consequence of a consistent energetic signal. Ultimately, shaping your habits is shaping your destiny. Wealth is not drawn to scattered effort or occasional bursts of positivity. It is drawn to the steady, reliable hum of a high-frequency aura. Each day is an opportunity to tune your personal signal, to practice the thoughts, feelings, and actions that align with the life you want to create. Over time, these habits transform you from someone who longs for wealth into someone who naturally attracts it, not by chance, but by the consistent vibration you have cultivated. So, my friends, remember this. Wealth is not waiting somewhere out there for you to chase it. It is drawn to you by the energy you cultivate, by the habits you live, and by the vision you hold steady in your heart. You do not need to beg for abundance or compete desperately for it. You need only prepare yourself to receive it. Every thought you choose, every emotion you nurture, every action you repeat is either polishing or dulling the light of your aura. When that light shines clear and strong, it becomes a beacon that opportunities cannot ignore. Do not wait for a perfect moment to begin. Begin today with one better thought, one more disciplined choice, one more act of gratitude and purpose. Let each day strengthen the vibration of confidence and readiness within you. In time, you will no longer wonder if wealth will come. You will know that it cannot help but be drawn to you because your aura has become its natural home. Stand firm in this truth. Cultivate your inner power and let your aura lead the way. Prosperity is not a distant dream. It is a frequency already within your reach. Align with it, embody it, and watch as your life transforms into the abundant vision you have always held in your heart.